if get that.
I already talked to Casey. It's all good. It's kind of heat of the moment. I was just wanted to get those outs, and it happens.
Buster Posey looked at the opening manager job in San Francisco, had a whole list of experienced, qualified candidates in front of him, and said, nah, we're going to go with this college guy. And look, Tony Vitello won a national championship at Tennessee in 2024. He built one of the best programs in college baseball. He went 341 and 131 losses in Knoxville. The man can coach. Nobody is questioning that. But there is a massive difference between coaching 18 and 20-year-old kids who are desperate to make it to the pros and managing grown men who already have multi-million-dollar guaranteed contracts and don't need you. And 2 weeks into the 2026 season, the evidence is starting to pile up that Buster Posey may have made one of the most interesting and riskiest decisions in recent managerial history. Stay with me because it gets messy. But before we get into it, shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports pick app. Easy to use, pick a lineup, more or less, few player stats that you want, lock it into your lineup, turn any game you're watching into something a little bit more exciting. $5 can get you a $50 credit bonus if you use the sign up code HMA. I'll put the link in the description below. And I appreciate the sponsorship. Thank you guys, Prize Picks. Thank you to my subscribers as well. Now that that's out of the way, let's get right into this video, guys. So let's start at the very beginning, because the beginning is where the first red flag quickly appears. Opening day, the Giants are kicking off the season against the New York Yankees at Oracle Park. It's Tony Vitello's first big league game as a manager. Ever. Not his first minor league game, first AA, high A, his first professional baseball game, period. And what does Vitello do to fire his team up? He goes full level 10 intensity in the clubhouse. He gets everyone extremely pumped up, the kind of pregame speech you give before you're running through a brick wall. What happens next? Well, the Giants go out on opening day and get swept in that series by the Yankees in 3 games. They were shut out in back-to-back games, by the way, for the first time in franchise history. And Vitello himself, to his credit, actually admitted what happened. He told reporters that maybe he shouldn't have given a, quote, fire and brimstone speech before game 1. That maybe the intensity was too much, too soon. In college, that works. You hype the kids up, they play loose and emotional, but in the bigs, you've got a 162 game season that starts in late March. You can't come out of the gates sprinting like it's a 1-game playoff. These guys need to pace themselves mentally for 6 months, and Vitello seemingly had to learn that lesson in real time in game 1 of a season that the Giants actually had real expectations for. Now, before we get into the stuff that really caught my attention, I want to be fair here. The Giants roster is stacked on paper. You got Willie Adames, Matt Chapman, Logan Webb, Young-Hoo Lee, Rafael Devers. This team should be competing. The fact that they're sitting at 5-8 and last place in the NL West, behind the Rockies, mind you, isn't entirely on Vitello, but some of it is. And here's where the story starts getting a little bit interesting to me. So let's talk about something that a lot of people have already noticed, right? Something that's way more telling than wins and losses in April. Matt Chapman got caught on a hot mic. During a game against the Padres, Chapman fielded a ground ball through to first, and Casey Schmidt couldn't hang on to the ball. During the subsequent mound visit, Chapman walked out there and was caught on camera screaming, "Catch the effing ball," at Schmidt repeatedly. It went viral. Super awkward moment, but at the end of the day, guys, it's competitive, it's baseball. He's just chirping back at his first baseman, lock in. But what happened next is that Vitello, at his pregame press availability, was asked about the Chapman situation. Standard question, say something like, oh, we handled it internally. But instead, Vitello volunteered information that nobody asked for. He told reporters, unprompted, that there had actually been 3 incidences of that nature this season. Not 1, but 3. He said that he thought he had managed to keep 2 of them from the media, but combined with the Chapman moment, we're at the 3 moments of intense back and forths within the clubhouse in the first 10 games. So we have 3 clubhouse breakouts in 10 days. Now, I don't know if this is normal, because again, usually this stuff stays in the clubhouse. So 1, why are you telling us this? Keep it in the clubhouse. It's the team's issue, not the media, and making it a bigger deal. But 2, is that normal? Should the manager of a team be having a team already falling apart this much, this fast? I don't know. Let me know in the comments, guys. Now, guys, here's the part that gets me. Now, he tried to spin it. He said that the Giants had won their best 3 games after each of those incidents, as if a little fire is a good thing. And maybe that is true. Maybe it is. But dude, why are you telling the media this? The clubhouse is supposed to be sacred. What happens in there stays in there. That's one of the most fundamental unwritten rules of baseball, I feel like. You don't air out your team's internal moments to reporters. You don't give the national media 2 unreported incidences as a bonus add-on when they only asked about 1. Vitello provided no context for what those other 2 incidents even were. Now the media is going to have a life of their own on social media and speculating and running wild. Players are going to see it. Maybe that shifts dynamics with the clubhouse a bit. It's basically the kind of thing an experienced manager like Bob Melvin, a Dusty Baker, a Bruce Bochy would never do. It's not that the incidences happen. Obviously that happens in every clubhouse. It's that you announce them to the press and the public. Just look at what World Series champion manager Alex Cora did in Boston earlier this year. Something happened between the team and starting catcher Carlos Narvaez. They benched him for a game, and when asked why, he refused to comment any further. That's what you do as a professional. You keep it within the team. And this is the part that makes me wonder if Vitello truly understands the difference between managing college kids and managing professional athletes. In college, maybe you use that stuff publicly as a motivational tool. In the bigs, veterans with guaranteed money and 10-year track records don't need their manager discussing internal disputes with reporters. Writer Zach Reagan put it perfectly. There's no upside for the Giants in making that information public. None. And yet, here we are. There's another habit of Vitello's that's been getting noticed. He keeps bringing up college, like a lot. After his first career rejection, which came after a controversial call, Encarnacion was ruled out for leaving the runner's lane against the Mets, Vitello went to the media postgame and spent a significant chunk of time referring college games where the same play had cost his team. He brought up a game against Lipscomb, Big 12 championship game against Oklahoma State. I mean, like, that's great, but we're in the pros, bro. Like, it's different. Again, all the while the Giants are sitting at a minus 25 run differential at that time through the first 10 games of the season. So I don't think anyone cares what happened against Lipscomb. They care about what's happening right now and what's going to happen with the Phillies and what's happening after that. Here's another thing I personally noticed watching one of the Giants games early in the season that made me do a double take. And again, I'm not watching every single Giants game, so correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but there was a close safe out call that happened and the Giants looked like they were going to challenge it. And, you know, every big league team has an internal replay monitor in the dugout. It's standard. You look at your own screen. You have your video guys have a direct feed. You make your quick decision on whether to burn a challenge. But watching this game, it looked like the Giants were glancing up at the Oracle Park Jumbotron to try and get a look at the replay, waiting for what the production team happened to be showing the big screen to the fans before making their decision. Now, I know that's not on Vitello. That could be an equipment issue, an organizational thing, anything, but it was just like a strange visual in that moment, like to already a strange season start. And it's the kind of small things that you start to add up and make you wonder, like, what else is not really fully dialed in yet? And is this Giants organization like being run properly right now? What makes all of this so compelling and honestly a little sad is who's caught in the middle of it. Rafael Devers. If you don't know the backstory, Devers signed a 10-year, $313 million deal with Boston, which should have been a love story. He was supposed to be the cornerstone of that franchise. Instead, the Red Sox ended up signing Bregman, as we know, and then told Devers, who was a third baseman, to move to DH. Devers was livid. He pushed back. Then first baseman Tristan Cassis went down with a season-ending injury, and the Red Sox asked Devers to slide over to first base. He said no again. Owner John Henry gets involved, literally flew to Kansas City to meet with him. Still no. And just like that, hours after hitting a home run in a sweep of the Yankees, Devers was traded to San Francisco mid-season, 2 years into his franchise deal. The same franchise that traded away Mookie Betts 5 years earlier traded away their franchise cornerstone again, sending away their best hitter in the middle of a playoff race. Kind of has to hurt a bit to be a Red Sox fan. I know. I'm biased. Meanwhile, the Red Sox in return got pitchers Kyle Harrison, Jordan Hicks, plus a couple of prospects, and we'll recap. Jordan Hicks posted a 8.20 ERA and got shut down. Harrison barely pitched and got traded similarly to Hicks, who was shipped off in the winter as well. Now, it's 2026 and the Red Sox are sitting at 4-8, dead last in the AL East, running out a lineup without Devers or Bregman, by the way, who they also let walk to the Cubs. But back to Devers and San Francisco, you know, he's out there trying to figure things out under a first-year manager who's still finding his footing. And to his credit, Devers is showing up in big spots. He showed up against the Phillies. He launched a 3-run homer off Aaron Nola in the 6th inning to break a scoreless game wide open, drove in a couple runs, dominant 5-0 shutout victory, which capped a 2 out of 3 series win over Philly. Back-to-back shutouts to close it out, which was the Giants' best baseball of the season as well, and moved them to 5-8. And here's where I land with this whole thing. Tony Vitello might be great eventually. He clearly is smart. He's intense. He understands the sport of baseball inside and out. He recruited Max Scherzer in college. He definitely has a good eye and a good instinct. He's surrounded himself with guys like Ron Washington and Jace Tingler specifically because they know what he doesn't know. But right now, in April of 2026, we are watching a very real experiment, and some of the results are making me tilt my head. The fire and brimstone speech on day one, the lineup tinkering in a 162 game marathon, the college story references in every other press conference, and most of all, airing out 3 clubhouse incidences to reporters like it's a team meeting and they have credentials. It's not a good look, guys. For a Giants team that already was struggling last year to seem like they had it put together when they had the tools on paper, it just seems like it got a bit worse, even though they potentially got better, if that makes any sense. Now, guys, the Giants do have 149 games left. Plenty of time to turn this around. Vitello could figure it out, find his footing, lead this team deep into October. That would be the great story, and I would love that. But right now, the vibes coming out of San Francisco are off. And when you've got a $300+ million designated hitter who's already been traded once because his last organization couldn't communicate with him, the last thing you want is a manager who doesn't seem totally sure what kind of room he's in. But that's all for me. Let me know what you guys think on this situation in the comments below, and I'll see you guys on the next one.